I'm Kelly Raper in the Department of Agricultural Economics at Oklahoma State University, and my colleague Eric DeVeest and I will be talking with you about how to add value to your cow-calf operation. So when we think about sources of revenue for cow-calf operations, there are really two approaches to increase value. One of those is to think about your cows as productive assets for your operations. At the end of their useful life in your operation, how can you maximize their salvage value? Revenue from culls is a significant component of annual revenue for the cow-calf operation. Is it worth retaining cull cows in a feeding system for delayed marketing after culling them from your herd? The economist answer is obviously it depends. We'll look at some alternatives here. The other source of revenue for a cow-calf operation is the commercial product, your calves. We'll examine management practices that can impact the final value of your calves at marketing. Opportunities exist to increase revenue from cull cows through changes in marketing strategies. This figure shows that cull cow prices tend to bottom out in the fall when the majority of calves are weaned and culling decisions are made. Then prices increase into the early spring. The bulk of producers market their cull cows at the bottom of that seasonal price index. By shifting the cull cow sale date from November to later in the spring, March or April, producers may realize about a 10% increase in the sale price. When we talk about retaining cull cows for delayed marketing, we need to consider their body condition scores and the type of feeding system that we retain those cows in. In this example, cows were retained either in a native pasture system or in a dry lot system. Cows in the native pasture system were fed stockpiled native grass pasture and given hay in cubes only when it was icy. In the dry lot system, they were fed rye hay with 10% crude protein beginning in mid-October, and then in December, they were fed 25% crude protein cubes. On the chart on the right, for the dry lot system, results are similar for those animals with a body condition score greater than 6. Returns are negative in every marketing period. Also notice that for thin and medium cows, those with a body condition score of 6 or less, net returns in the dry lot system are also negative for all but the 4th period. Remember that market conditions change. That means that retaining cull cows is a year-to-year decision based on 1. Your own resources such as stockpiled forage, 2. Projected feed cost if necessary, and 3. The current and expected market for slaughter cows. Cows with higher body condition scores require too much feed resources to maintain weight. Our recommendation is to sell those animals at culling. For those in low to moderate body condition, assess your resources. Feeding for 90 to 150 days with relatively inexpensive feed source can be profitable. Consider attempting to breed back some of them if you have resources to keep them separate from the rest of the herd. They can then be sold as bred or pairs to fall calving herds or year-round calving herds, for example. Let's move to strategies for adding value to calves. Moving calves places stress on them, which impacts their immune systems and eating habits. Anything that you can do to reduce that stress at marketing has value. In this case, we're going to focus on 3 specific strategies: castration, implants, and a defined breeding season. Before we move to the specifics, let's take a look at adoption rates by Oklahoma producers. In the 2010 OBMM survey, 28% of Oklahoma producers who responded do not castrate bull calves prior to marketing. 74% of Oklahoma producers do not implant calves on the ranch. The result is a lot of bulls coming through the sale ring. If we look at 2014, 7.2% of the lots that came through value-added sales in Oklahoma contained bulls. The state average is likely higher due to the nature of those value-added sales. And as a reminder, that bull discount is applied to the entire lot of calves in which the bull is contained. For example, a lot of 8 steer calves with 1 bull included will lessen the price that entire lot receives. Who's castrating? 95% of herds with larger than 200 head are castrating. while 50% of the herds that have less than 50 head are castrating those bull calves before marketing. Who's not castrating? As we mentioned before, 28% of producers who responded to the Oklahoma Beef Management and Marketing Survey said they do not castrate before marketing. If we broaden that out to the South Central U.S., 56% of operations do not castrate prior to weaning, and that is the lowest region in the U.S. Why does it matter? From a health perspective, calves that are castrated at less than 3 months old experience lower stress levels, less sickness, and have lower rates of death loss. From an animal welfare perspective, older calves experience more stress at castration and show more aggressive behavior while they're uncastrated, implying greater risks of injury for other animals and for humans. From a beef quality perspective, calves that weigh more than 500 pounds at castration will have less marbling and lower tenderness ratings. From an economic perspective, bull calves castrated past 3 months of age will weigh 20 pounds less on average at slaughter and will be in the feedlot for 12 additional days relative to a calf castrated at less than 3 months of age. That results in a higher cost of gain at the feedlot. And finally, but most importantly for you, from a cow-calf operator's perspective, bull calves are discounted at the sale barn, impacting the bottom line. Williams et al. In 2012 found that bull calves were discounted at $5.77 a hundredweight at feeder cattle auctions in Oklahoma in 2010. That's a revenue difference of $25 between a 500-pound bull calf and a 500-pound steer calf, conservatively speaking. Many other studies find similar discounts, typically in the $5 to $10 a hundredweight range. In the 2010 Oklahoma Beef Management and Marketing Survey, we also asked producers to describe their calving seasons. As you can see, only 34% of Oklahoma producers have what we would describe as a defined calving season, where 80% of their calves were born within a 3-month period. The breakdown of defined calving seasons is shown on the right. The bulk of Oklahoma producers who do have a defined calving season are calving in the spring, with a large component calving in winter or early spring. What does this have to do with adding value? Let's take a look. A defined calving season means more calves of more uniform composition. If a producer can put together larger lots when he takes those calves to the sale barn, lot size will have an impact on sale price. If we look at 2010 to 2013 sale data from feeder calf auctions in Oklahoma, you can see that the lot size effects, simply moving from 5 to 10 head, is $2.58 a hundredweight. Moving further from 10 to 15 head adds another $1.22 per hundredweight, while bumping that lot size up to 20 head adds an additional 89 cents a hundredweight. So that's a significant gain in revenue simply from marketing larger lots of uniform calves. Let's talk about the value of implanting for your calf crop. Calf fed implants are relatively inexpensive at $1 to $2 cost per calf, yet they can be quite effective in increasing the pounds of gain on your ranch. If you look at the value of that implant, consider value of gain at 80 cents, that results in $14.40 in additional revenue. A value of gain at $1.50 results in additional revenue of $27 per head. You can implant at branding or implant at weaning. Those have different impacts, and we'll take a look at those momentarily. And I would point out that some producers do not implant because they want to have access to the natural market, but the percentage of calves that go to a natural market are very, very small, and the fear of a market discount for implanted calves is unjustified. Most of those calves going into the natural program are going through a process verified program through USDA. In an implant study in 2014 at Oklahoma State University, animal science researchers found that implanted calves had an additional 19 pounds of gain through the summer and an additional 19 pounds added to their weaning weight just from implanting. If we look at pounds gained during the preconditioning period, implanted calves gained again approximately 11 pounds more than calves who had not been implanted when we look at that period from the beginning of the preconditioning period until marketing. Dr. Eric DeVries will discuss the value of some of those practices that we've reviewed here.
Thanks, Kelly. So let's talk about some of the premiums and discounts that we've observed in the sale barn over the last several years here in Oklahoma. So as part of the Oklahoma Quality Beef Network program, we go into sale barns around the state each fall and collect data on several thousand lots of cattle. And then we come back and use statistical methods to parse out the differences in prices that those lots of cattle received. And so let's start with hide color. Now, black hide is our base in this, and as we all know, certified Angus beef has really changed our industry. And so we've seen a lot of breeds breed in black hides into their registries for that very reason. And so one of the big ones that'll jump out here is dairy longhorn. If you've got dairy influence, longhorn influence, corriente influence, you're going to take a significant hit in the sale barn. And by the way, that's we're going to look at muscling later on, but we can see that impacts muscling as well. Herefords are also discounted, and other lots, and so these are just oddballs, like you might get a Bronve, a lot of Bronve calves or something in there, that they all just get lumped in this other category. Black mixed lots, these are lots that are predominantly black but might have some red calves in it, for example. They're not hit as hard as the other ones. Charolais, you'll see, aren't discounted real hard either. So why do we precondition? So part of the OQBN project and some other programs around the country is that preconditioning pays at the sale barn. Vaccinated and weaned calves on average earn about $3.27 per hundredweight more than other calves. Certification through a third party adds between 89 cents and $2.56 a hundredweight. Dehorned and polled cattle earn $2.80 more than horned lots. You only need a few horned cattle in a lot to get those discounts in that lot. Typically, as few as 20% of the calves in the lot will pull that value down. Particularly damaging to sale price are unhealthy cattle. These are calves with cloudy eyes, lame, runny nose, a bad tail, and this can be really, really costly at the sale barn. While on average we're back 27 bucks a hundredweight for even one or two unhealthy calves in the lot, we've seen much, much worse. We've been in the sale barn and basically seen calves that would not sell at all in the ring because they were unhealthy. Non-uniform lots are going to put you back about $8 a hundredweight. A defined calving season can really help reduce non-uniformity in your lots, and that's something that we say that you need to be targeting a 60 to 90 day calving season to avoid that. That non-uniformity also can come in from frame size, from hide color. We've seen that effect of mixed lots on the previous slide. So we encourage people to cut that calving season off, cull your late calvers, and avoid those discounts. Another thing that really helps in price is selling your cattle later in the season. And so relative to an October 1 sale date, you pick up $7 cents per hundredweight for every day after October 1. On average, we're looking at about $3.15 per hundredweight for a 45-day preconditioning program. So that alone, just shifting the sale date on those calves a few days, a few weeks, will improve the price on those calves. Some other important sale determinants include what's in the lot. We can't stop having heifers, and we're going to have to sell heifers because we're going to typically retain around 15 to 20% of our heifers. And relative to steer calves, you're back almost 10 bucks on average, our data shows. What really kills producers are having bulls or mixed lots. That's bulls and steers That's going to cost you, in our data, around $5 a hundredweight, but it can be as much as $10 a hundredweight. So castration, as Kelly had mentioned earlier, is a proven way to add value to your calf crop or avoid getting docked. Another thing that affects sale price is muscling. So lighter muscled calves in our data are back about $2.50 a hundredweight for mixed number 2s and 3s, and number 3s are back over $14 a hundredweight. Simply put, it pays to choose bulls that have adequate muscling so that at the sale barn you're going to get a little better price or avoid even a larger discount. So one question we often get is why do prices so different between sale barns around the state? So one of the studies we did, we looked at why that is, and one of the big determinants is how many wheat acres are in the area. So as we know, in the fall in Oklahoma, we're putting calves out on wheat, and our study shows that for every 100,000 acres of wheat within 100 miles of the sale barn, we're going to add 64 cents a hundredweight onto the sale price. So it doesn't take very many wheat acres in the area for that to start adding up. The other thing that we found is that distance from a 4-lane highway affects the sale barn's average price. For every mile you're away from a 4-lane highway, the sale price is going to decrease by 7 cents per hundredweight. So those are just a few of the other determinants why sale barn basis differs by location. One common concern that we often hear from producers is that only large producers receive premiums for value-added practices. So we tested this using data from our 2010 OQBN sales and several other 2010 calf sales around the state of Oklahoma. Then we developed partial budgets to analyze those various practices and combinations of practices. So here's a partial budget. Let's start out just with a unweaned calf going straight to the sale barn, and we're looking at about $569 of revenue. So if we wean that calf for 45 days, put some additional weight on it, we're going to pick up another $51 of revenue, but we're going to incur some cost of about $24. That's going to leave us about $37 of profit just from weaning a calf and waiting 45 days to sell it. If we start bundling practices together like wean, vaccinating, and dehorning, we're going to pick up some more cost, but based on our improved sale price, we're going to add $42.50 ahead in profits to that calf. And then if we go to the next extreme, wean, vaccinate, dehorn, and just enroll that calf in a third-party certified program such as OQBN, we're going to be up about $68.50 per head when we do that bundle of practices. So the next question is, how does this affect my probability of returns? So we recognize that the previous slide, those were average returns that we could expect. Not every producer is going to realize that because there are other reasons to do that. So using statistical methods, we were able to estimate the probability that various practices and combinations of practices would be profitable for Oklahoma cattle producers, again using that 2010 data. The net returns from weaning a calf for 45 days increased profitability by about $5.13 per hundredweight and was profitable for about 59% of our producers. Vaccinating earned about $6 per hundredweight of profit, and about 64% of our producers received a positive return for doing that. Dehorning earned average profits of about $6.31 per hundredweight and was profitable again for about 59% of our producers. When we start combining these practices together in bundles, the probability of profitability increases over single practice adoption with 3 and 4 practices bundled together. The two factors together contribute to the higher probability of profit. First, each of these practices individually increase sales prices. Second, the marginal cost of the second, third, and fourth practice tends to be fairly low because calves are already in the chute. So the labor cost of collecting the calves is spread out over multiple practices. As a result, the combination of weaning, vaccinating, dehorning earns nearly $11 per hundredweight in profit with 67% probability of positive profits. Adding in certification into this bundle increases the profitability to $13 a hundredweight, with over 79% of our producers earning positive profits when they put that bundle together. So we have a couple papers, fact sheets led by Kelly Raper, that show how you can manage your cow herd to improve profitability through improved culling practices. And you can see those URLs here that will get you directly to the document vault files. In this slide, we list some information on how you can participate in OQBN. We've got a budgeting tool available which will help you project your personal profits, your personal returns from engaging in value added. We've got a paper that will show you how to use implants. And then we have another paper where we've kind of put all this together, which will show how you can put together even more practices and groups of practices to improve profitability. And if you have any questions, we encourage you to contact us here at Oklahoma State University or your local Cooperative Extension Service office.